Hi, I'm here. You know me, probably, if you watch this channel. My name's Nathan. I talk about knives on the internet, and I'm here with Mike Hooves.
Also known as mixed gender when I'm looking this fabulous.
Fantastic. Okay, so we partnered up with Mike to bring you this fierce and fabulous tea towel. Mike, you designed this.
I did the drawing.
It's incredible. We got a flamingo holding a knife in its mouth. I think that's pretty cool. We call this the protest tea towel because many protests have started in the kitchen. And the idea is you can use it in your kitchen, and then when you go to a protest, you can take it with you, right?
You can whip it out and you'll have the most beautiful sign at the protest.
Yeah, you can hold it up like a flag, you can tie it around your head, you can put it on like a little cape if you want to, you know, put it on your dog. Yeah, here's the deal. It's a $45 tea towel, and that's because it's made in France with the best possible cotton. It's super, super soft once you use it and break it in. Super absorbent. It feels beautiful. It looks beautiful. 100% of the proceeds, $45 from the sale of every one of these, is gonna go to local LGBTQIA plus charities. Until they're gone, 100% of proceeds. Because it's Pride Month, we're also running a fundraiser. So 50% of our knife sharpening proceeds for the whole month will go to those charities. And we've got stickers coming out every Sunday, and $1 from every sticker will go to those causes.
Dang,
Yeah.
gotta get in on that.
What better way to talk about it than to kind of share a little bit of our worlds from each other. So we're gonna share some skills tonight.
I'm gonna learn about knives, and you're gonna learn about drag makeup.
I'm so excited. Let's do it.
I think we're gonna try and glue down the brows. So
Yeah, I've seen this done, and I've never done it.
it's very difficult. That's the whole reason when I started drag, I started out as a drag king because I didn't want to glue my brows down.
Yeah.
And then I became a
sounds hard.
non-binary drag performer, and I used that a lot as a shield to learn how to glue my brows down, and then finally I had to relent. So I have this little brush spoolie thing, and this, oh my goodness, this is, eyebrows are just like an advance.
Okay, cool. No, that's good. You know,
crusty.
this kind of, anytime I get into a hobby, I try to do it the hardest way first.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to fail and be humbled.
So the goal of gluing your brows down, if this isn't obvious, is to flatten them and have them be an additional surface you can paint on. And
Right.
so you can put your eyebrows higher or your eye, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we're going for like a blank canvas kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so push it firmly.
Yeah.
And I go like 1, 2, 3, like nice and firm.
Okay.
This is Elmer's school glue.
Ah.
Not sponsored,
We
but
got the school grade stuff.
it's purple and it will go on purple, especially as you layer it.
Cool. Okay.
And then it dries.
Okay.
clear. And then you're gonna take this spoolie, what you just pushed down on your eyebrows with the glue, you're gonna like brush it upwards. You want
Okay.
your eyebrow hairs to kind of point up.
Okay, this sounds a lot like waxing a mustache. So you start on one side and you end on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Push. Firm. 1. Yep.
Oh, missed a little bit there.
pass. 2.
Gotta get that top.
Okay.
Oh,
That's okay.
I'm pushing. I'm jamming
Okay,
this thing
and
into
there
my
you
face.
go.
Sorry.
That's 3.
Nailed
And
it.
then you're gonna take the spoolie and brush your eyebrow hairs up.
This side?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Oh, he's pretty good at this.
Yeah, if my
actually.
forehead wasn't so wrinkly, this would be a lot
Well,
easier.
stop furrowing your brow.
Oh, I can't. I don't know how to make a neutral expression.
Awesome. Yeah, get it nice and flat.
Oh, that one's real long.
And then take the glue one more time and just push that down.
Push this
Yeah, push the
like
hairs
that way, or
down.
like
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
They're already pushed up, so you're just gonna follow your brow line and push it a bit.
like that.
Yeah, just get them flat.
Okay.
Okay, stop.
It's not going
We're
so
gonna
well now.
dry it now.
'Kay.
This is where too.
Ooh,
You take
nice
that.
fan.
You gotta let each layer dry
Okay.
before you go to the next one, or else it turns into like, if it's still tacky and you put more sticky stuff on it,
Yeah.
it'll just be a disaster.
Yeah. Okay. While we're waiting for this to happen, can you tell us a little bit about? You know, we kind of came to you with a very loose vision
Yeah, can you
of
pass it to me?
what we wanted from this, but it was very unspecific. So how'd you come up with this design that we also see behind us in flag version?
So I mean, when you guys came to me, it was because specifically in our province of Alberta, beautiful Alberta, we had a lot of conservative crap going on against trans people specifically. So people were upset about that. And I think that idea of the protest starting in the kitchen Kevin came and he's like, I want a protest towel. And that was kind of, I want to be able to take it to protest. So that was like the starting point of it. You guys were throwing around the quote, we're fabulous and fierce, don't fuck with us. So I basically just took out fuck because, you know, protest, there's a lot of fucks in there, but it makes it more applicable in the kitchen when you have, not everyone wants the word fuck on their kitchen towel.
Sure, yeah. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, one of the things I threw out, I'm a big bird nerd, and I really like the artist Audubon. He has a flamingo kind of posed like this, the Audubon flamingo. So I kind of yanked that off of him because I feel like flamingos are very fabulous. They're not so fierce though, and because it was for knifewear, I'm like, well, you know what's fierce? A knife. And you know what's fabulous and fierce? A flamingo holding a knife. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe we'll do like that 3 times.
Oh shit, wow.
Yeah, you don't just get to do it once. You need a nice flat surface. If there's not enough coverage on the brow, it's not flat, you get something called oatmeal brows, and that's when they're very textured, and you can see them underneath. And that is
the least flattering term I've ever heard. I feel like I could work with that. You know, I've got Scottish heritage. I own a few kilts. I could, you know, oatmeal brows could be like
that
the
could be your drag, dude.
right?
Oatmeal brows. So now that they're pushed down, that's the first layer is the most important layer. Because if you fuck that one up, it dictates the rest of how it's gonna go. Yeah, how does it feel?
It feels pretty dry, yeah.
I'm impressed.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I tell you, it's all the Warhammer and the mustache wax.
3 is about all this glue stick can take.
Yeah, that's all we got in the chamber.
What you can do for the last round is, this is like baking powder. This is like the powder, not actual baking powder.
Okay, I could have brought my own.
You're gonna take this and you're gonna like powder puff your eyebrows.
We do like, here, just over the brows? Is that too much?
Nope.
Okay, and then do I spread it around or just let it hang out?
And then you can take like this one to wipe away the excess powder.
Smells exactly like my grandma.
Yeah. This is the drag queen standard. I learned.
The drag queen what?
The drag queen standard. This stuff.
Standard, okay.
This stuff is called Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder since 1935.
Damn.
So
yeah, it smells like old-timey makeup.
This is like some old school.
That was only invented 6 years after she was born.
I'll get the coverage on you. I will let you get your under eye and your eyelids.
We're using this middle guy, hey?
Yeah, if you want, you can use any of them. So now you look sickly and kind of yucky. Yep. So we'll do some contours. So this is actually a contour palette. So there's the lighter colors and then there's the darker colors for contour. We're going in.
So
you could do your cheekbone like there. You don't have to take it all the way to, yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
There you go. Let's do some eyebrows. You need new eyebrows. I like to take, like, this is my planning pencil. I like to take it and then I draw the eyebrow light because it's orange, right?
Nice.
So if you want your eye, do you want me to draw them or are you gonna?
Please.
Okay, we're gonna go nice and
I'm not that confident.
One nice thing about having like this level of this height on your forehead is we can do
this wrinkly canvas to work on.
We can do like a divine.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like divine.
And then you can go in and just take a...
Damn, all right.
You can take this and you can pick a color even through here.
Oh!
You can just do it that
so
way.
Many choices.
Probably a darker color, but you can do like a purple brow or a red brow or blue. Well,
I think I'm gonna go for purple. Pink's too warm for my...
We can do the eye. We can do pink on the eye.
Right.
A little pink on the eye.
So I'm just following this line now?
Yeah, you can follow it. Now you're gonna make your eyebrows. Okay, now we need her sister.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
there's a little
I'm not
curvature
mad at
over there, but that's all right. Cool.
So now we're gonna do your eye, and I'll just draw the shape of the eye out because I think I want to give you a fighting chance here.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our eyeshadow and you'll follow kind of the shape I create for you. We'll do like we're gonna try and kind of, I like to draw the line where you're gonna put the eyeshadow kind of on the, that's how I keep the oatmeal brows managed, is if you draw a dark line on it, it usually saves it. Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh, am I going right to the eyelid?
Yeah, go right to the eyelid.
Okay. All right, that's a pretty
botched
blend, but that's all right.
We're gonna use this white, and we're gonna put that to open your eyes up. You see how I have some?
Mm-hmm. A little highlight on the dark areas?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna put it under the bottom part of your brow, like here to here.
Oh,
to highlight it.
To kind of break it up a
Yeah,
bit.
and then you can put it's a little in your inner eye if you want.
Okay.
This is how you make it pop. You put some white. Beautiful.
It's like when the whiteout doesn't quite work the first time, you try to go in and go over it, it just...
Yeah, and then we're gonna give you a nose contour too, why not?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we'll do a nose highlight too. So they kind of say with nose contours in drag, the kind of standard one is to make like an exclamation mark. So you go down and then you make a little boop on your nose. That was standardized by a Drag Race.
All in white?
lady. I dipped it already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll do it all in white.
Okay.
We're going for
Where
drama.
do I start the top of the...
You can start kind of like in the center.
Quite high.
You can always go, and you can always extend it. It's an exclamation point. And then we're gonna do some eyeliner. I have the same thing though in black. Okay, that Warhammer did pay off. We're gonna add some highlight to make you sparkly.
Okay.
So you can take the pink opal. This is just gonna make you shiny. We want it like on the tip of your nose and above that cheek contour.
Yeah,
and maybe some on your forehead or where your brow kind of is. Beautiful.
Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah. We want some blush. We're gonna add some color to your cheeks. Whatever pink, shade of pink you're feeling.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I like that glittery pink.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
I like to put some on the tip of my nose too, like on the underside of it to give like a little like e-girl kind of moment. Ooh. Yeah, I mean I have these unused lashes just waiting for you.
Oh, sick.
So normally in drag, these are just like one singular lash. You like to stack them and make like a monster lash, but I'll do the glue part for you.
Please.
And just like our brow glue, we don't really want to fuck with it when it's still wet.
Okay.
We want this to get tacky. So this is another, this is at the end where you're waiting for things to dry too. You just kind of set them there. You just kind of take it and you place it.
Get it on there.
Yeah, you can put it on your lash line if you want.
Okay.
You can put it higher up. Okay, welcome to the stage. That sounds like an Austin Powers character. Oatmeal Brows. Woo! Her debut, a bearded queen. Gorgeous. With the lashes though, it's kind of giving. Wow!
All right, my turn. Welcome to my world. We're gonna learn some knife skills.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, first we get to pick a knife off the wall. Which one do you want?
Oh my goodness. Well, we are in drag, so I feel like we need the most dramatic
The most
ones.
like ostentatious?
Like that one
this
and
guy?
like the cleaver.
All right, you wanna use this one?
Yeah.
That's the Sasquatch.
Should we use a more normal one too?
Sure, we'll grab like a couple of normal shapes.
We'll do a drag one and we'll do
we'll grab some
actual useful
Which one of these do you want to use?
Let's do this one.
That's a really good size for like most, I
feel like I have knives this size.
My philosophy when it comes to cooking in general is if you can, and this probably carries over to makeup too, if you can nail the basics and like the fundamentals, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You can figure the rest out if you can get that like basic stuff. If you can glue your brows down right, you can make a beef bourguignon. We've got some celery, some carrots, pepper, ginger, green onion. We're gonna learn to cut those and make a stir fry. So first of all, I like to start with how to hold a knife. What I like to do though, is I like to slide my hand up a little bit and actually pinch just the back of the blade there, just in front of the handle. And do it in a way that's comfortable, right? You gotta find a grip that's comfortable to you. This just gives you more control, right? And then this hand is the one you gotta worry about.
Keep it out of the way?
If you cut this hand, you're doing something special.
Yeah.
But you also need to be able to hold the food that you're cutting so it's not moving all over on you. So what I like to do is I like to curl my fingertips under and make kind of a bear claw. And then what we're gonna do is just lay that on top of the food. We're gonna take our knife and we're gonna put it up against that kind of first knuckle there. So the idea is you have your fingertips tucked under and then the side of the knife can sit along that knuckle.
And not hit your fingertips.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we're just gonna slide the knife forward. A sharp knife works better by sliding forwards or back than it does by pushing straight down. These are sharp, so you can push down, but it's gonna be a lot easier. You're gonna have a lot more control if you slide forward. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, great. The other thing is, how are you gonna eat it? So if we're eating stir fry, let's assume we're using chopsticks. You want something that's kind of long and skinny and easy to pick up with chopsticks. So instead of doing these like,
Little cube kind of.
those guys, that's good for salad, or soup.
Yeah.
But for stir fry, we're gonna take our celery and our knife, and instead of going straight across, like, let's say this is like a 90-degree angle, we're gonna go more for like a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
A bit of a slant, a little more. Bring that tip over here a little bit more. Yeah, and then we're gonna cut thinner pieces that are just a couple of millimeters.
Okay.
And you can angle it even a little more aggressively if you want something with a little more attitude. We're going for fierce veggies here. Now for the carrot, we're gonna do the exact same thing with this carrot. We're going to just angle it. And I like to go for a pretty like steep angle there.
Okay.
And we're just gonna cut these. This is called a bias cut because believe it or not, you're cutting on a bias. What I like about this bias cut is you get these nice flat pieces. So that's great if you're gonna stir fry it because you can pick it up easily, it cooks quickly. But the cool thing is, say you're making like a salad, right? And you want a nice little piece that's gonna eat nice when it's raw, but you also don't wanna like just make tiny little boring squares or whatever.
Yes.
You can stack a couple of these bias cuts up, and then you can go kind of lengthwise across them. And then you get a French cut. I'm sure the French weren't the first to come up with this, but you get what's called a julienne. That is gonna be nicer to eat raw because it's a pretty small piece, and it's a lot easier than squaring off the carrot and trying to make these like perfect julienne. This is the way I like to do it. So this is a special knife we have called a Sasquatch knife. This is Kevin's dream that he's made a reality. And he's just asked a bunch of different Japanese blacksmiths to make a knife that a Sasquatch would use. And so,
I think he hit the nail on the head.
I think so, yeah. You ever do the thing where you cut through the middle of the pepper and then you pull it apart and seeds go everywhere and it's a fucking disaster?
And then I eat the seeds.
Yeah.
Because I like the texture.
Really?
But
we're gonna pretend then that you don't like seeds.
Okay, I hate seeds
because I've never
tonight.
met somebody that likes pepper seeds. This is a first for everything. We're gonna cut the bottom off.
Okay.
Like kind of that whole bottom there. You're going for that. Nice. Okay, spin it around. We wanna leave a little bit of this green behind.
Yep.
So we're gonna cut the top off, but we're not gonna cut too far in. We wanna take off like a ring, but not cut off that whole stem there, if that makes sense. Like that is what we're going for.
Okay, let me.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna extract the delicious seedy core.
My favorite part of the pepper, honestly.
Incredible. We're gonna start by cutting through the side with the tip. Yep. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna lay the pepper on its side, and we're gonna get the knife, just kind of slide it into that cut. We're gonna try to slice off that white part from the rest of the pepper. And we're gonna kind of unroll it as we go.
God. Okay.
Yeah, take your time.
Watch the fingies.
If you take off too much pepper, you can always go back for it. Okay, I have to try this. Maybe you're onto something.
No, I'm not. I just like seeds. I like the seeds in an apple too. I'm built different. What's wrong with it?
Okay,
it tastes like nothing.
Now we can take this, and basically what I do is I cut it in half, and then I stack those two halves up.
Make them cuddle.
Yep. Got your big spoon, your little spoon, and then we're just gonna slice them into strips. Kind of like that julienne, maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, pretty simple. And because our knives are really sharp, we can cut through the pepper skin.
It's beautiful.
Right? That doesn't suck. We're gonna save the most difficult one for last. This is the eyeliner.
Ginger.
This is the, I don't know, something less hard than the eyeliner.
Highlighter?
Yeah, this is the highlighter. This is the white stuff, you know? This is a little tricky, but not that tricky. We're gonna do these really thin, really long pieces as a garnish. So they're nice to eat raw, you don't have to cook them.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna cut the roots off at the bottom. I like the white part of the green onion, so I wanna leave as much of that as possible. And then we're gonna do another one of those bias cuts. We're doing a lot of those tonight, but we're going for as extreme of an angle as possible. So my knife is not in a straight line with the green onion, but it's only like 10 degrees off from the green onion. So what you wanna do is make, the first couple will be kind of short, but you wanna make, and it might be easier to use the other knife here, so don't be afraid to switch
But
up.
I want to use a Sasquatch.
All right, perfect. See, I want to use a Sasquatch knife too, so I'm glad you're into it. What I do here is I use that guide knuckle against the side of the knife, and I barely pick the knife up before I make my next cut, so that I'm not in danger here. I'm not picking my knife up over my finger, and that allows me to get those really thin cuts. You know, these aren't probably restaurant standard, but what we have is nice thin slices of green onion.
Yeah.
You know, you throw those on top of your stir fry at the end, or just like you turn the heat off, throw them in, stir it, and they're gonna cook a little bit, but not really. It's just gonna take the harshness off of that oniony flavor.
It smells great.
Yeah. So this is how to peel ginger the easy way. Because the skin, I don't mind the skin. A lot of people don't want to eat it. I basically take a spoon in my hand like that, and then I set it kind of like the edge against the ginger like that at about 90 degrees. And I just dig in a tiny bit and scrape it off.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
It's like whittling wood.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep,
And so what we're gonna do again is we're gonna use that knuckle to kind of guide the knife right up against the edge of the knife.
Okay.
Because we're going for the thinnest slices you can make.
Just gonna cut off some of the stuff I didn't.
Yeah, don't be afraid to square it off a bit. We're gonna stack them up a little bit. Doesn't need to be super tidy.
Okay.
We're gonna do the exact same thing we did with those carrots earlier.
Okay.
We're gonna do it a bit smaller. We're going for like a super, super fine version of that julienne. And then we're just gonna line those sticks up. Like you could throw that into a stir fry.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty gingery for most people.
Yeah.
So what I would do, if
Make
I'm
it
not just
smaller.
cooking for myself, is I would make it smaller. And so we're going for what's called a brunoise, which is like a micro dice. And this is where you can kind of rock your knife a little bit if you like to do that. And so we're just turning those little sticks into little squares. And if you wanted, you could go back over it and kind of mince it more with that kind of like rock chop that a lot of people like to use. Often what I'll do is I'll brunoise it, and then I'll throw it into like my sauce, and it just gets a little bit of heat. It doesn't get a stir fry per se. There we go. You just got a stir fry.
You just did drag.
Woo!
Reminder about this towel. It's available for $45. All proceeds going to queer charities. I drew it, so I'm biased, but I think it's pretty fantastic.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I have one in my kitchen. I love it. It's the quality of the fabric itself is beautiful, if that's the only thing you're getting it for, but the incredible design, the fact that 100% of the money is going to a really good cause, I think it's super important and cool.
Yeah, and it's multi-use. If you want to just use it in the kitchen, you can, but
Yeah,
you can
we just use it
roll
for
up
makeup and for, you know, wiping knives off. They're really great for drying dishes too. Yeah. Okay, you can find that at the link in the description. For the entire month of June, 50% of knife sharpening proceeds are going to local queer charities in Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver, as well as $1 from every sticker sale from our bread stickers.
That's lovely.
Cool.
Get on it.
Thanks, Mike. That was super fun.
Thank you, Nathan.